Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here. I hope you're doing really well. I put out some posts this weekend. I don't know if you saw them around, had two questions for you. Is essentially, what was the most recent nice thing you did for your body? And what has freed up in your life since you've been able to have less body worries, a little less food preoccupation, whatever it is? What have you gotten from that? So I had those two questions out this weekend, and I want to thank everybody for all the beautiful responses of basically what it comes down to is taking care of the bodies we have helps us feel more vital, helps us feel more content, less hungering, just like this less feeling starved for being seen and heard, even by ourselves. And the other end of it was, what are we doing with ourselves and our time? And people are sharing all these really amazing circumstances of just having their time back, of recognizing that maybe they're doing things in their life they don't want to be doing, like a certain kind of job, or maybe they're just doing more things that they wanted to do and they didn't let waiting for eating the right meal, the right time, the right body size stopping them. It goes on and on. So I'll really encourage you to go, and I pose those questions because I wanted us to know, one, we're not alone in wondering these things, and two, that like seeing and being around other people who are going through what we're going through, but maybe one half step ahead, or maybe they're also doing some things you're doing and you're wondering, am I the only one here on the planet doing these things? You just know you're not alone. So that's why I did those questions, and I hope they were nourishing for you. The next step is the question, so if all of that's true, what keeps me from being consistent? And the number one thing I see that keeps us oftentimes from being consistent is some kind of old belief or old fighting with ourselves, is that we have to fight for ourselves, fight with ourselves to have what we need, or we don't feel like we deserve to have what we need. And that's usually some old shamey stuff that's been connected to getting our needs met, feeling like, well, they weren't met in the past, so what was wrong with me, and I must be bad or wrong, and so what's the point? And that's one of the biggest hurdles I see people struggling with. So this video is to encourage you that there's a couple ways to deal with that. One could be, yeah, that happened and that sucks, and look at you now, able to do some good things and to really meet yourself where you're at and to stay connected to that. And the only way sometimes we can do that is by doing opposite action, which is doing the good thing for ourselves anyway, even if we don't always feel like it. Now, that doesn't mean it's easy to get to. I'm being honest. Sometimes it's planning out how you're going to do the nice things for with your food, your body, whether that means really gentle meal planning, whether that means packing more than enough food that you need, whether that means setting a timer on your watch, like, oh, it's about time that I agreed to check in with myself to see if I need some food or some water, or to just get up and stretch. I know that sounds really simple, but sometimes that's what we need to get out of that old survival neurobiology that we might have, and one of, oh yeah, I am a person that is worth and worthy of being paid attention to. That might not feel always true, but that doesn't mean that it's not true. And that's really, really important to recognize that might not be our home note, but we're trying to cultivate a new normal. And that's really important. And so the other things would be just generally keep on doing what I call this 3-step process. And we tend to think okay, I'm going to do everything cognitively. I'm going to plan the food and then I'm just going to do it. Well, sometimes we can have really good intentions, and we need to take that cognitive bottom down approach. But the second part of this is I want you to think about, how do you support your body to actually get to the table? And that could be, this is the somatic part, is before every time you even have an intent to eat, whether it's based in your hunger and fullness, maybe even if it's based on a little bit of either emotional restrictiveness or emotional binginess is that you check in with your body. And that might be that you lay on the floor and feel something underneath you that's there for you. You might need to push against the wall to get like some sense of like, oh, here are my edges. Whoa. It may be that you need to put a book on your lap. Or if you happen to have a weighted blanket, and do that. Just to get some sense of like where you are, who you are. It's 2000, whatever you're watching this video, versus 1980, 90, whatever, maybe earlier than that, something, to be in the here and now body you have and the circumstances you're in. So that would be the bottom up way to meet in the middle, from the top down of like you're planning ahead, let's say, to get nourished, or from your bottom up, like, hey, how do I help my body out of that old survival physiology and into like growing my window of tolerance, into feeling like there's something safe here for me now. And when we can come from a place like this where it feels more settled, more safe, more okay, we're more likely to be able to do the things that we plan to do to get ourselves nourished consistently, to start to have the life that we want and all that freedom that not obsessing about food or body can give. So little more complex video. I hope that's okay though, because I just want to like give you the nuances of what's like how to actually do this work. So thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, let me know below. If this was nourishing to you, maybe it'll be something that meets somebody else's hunger as well, and I appreciate you letting them know. Thank you so much, and take care.